This is one of those stories that makes you want to hold your loved ones close. Once upon a time, there was a boy and a girl who were best friends. One day, they decided to go on an adventure. They packed their bags, took lots of selfies, and talked about how this would be the best journey of their lives. They were so excited. When they got on the bus, they were full of energy. As they rode through the winding roads toward the mountains, they laughed and joked, making plans about all the fun they would have. But as the clouds gathered overhead and thunder rumbled in the distance, their mood shifted. Heavy rain began to pour, making it hard for the driver to see. The boy and the girl looked at each other nervously as the bus skidded on the wet road. Suddenly, a massive landslide blocked the road ahead. Everyone had to step out in the middle of nowhere. The boy and the girl, wanting to be brave, came up with a plan. They decided to take a shortcut through the forest to reach the nearest village. At first, it felt like an adventure. They walked among the tall green trees, jumped over rushing rivers, and made plans to escape from the boring town they lived in. They took pictures and videos, excited to be free. But as they walked deeper into the woods, the path disappeared and the trees grew darker. The girl started to get scared, but the boy pretended to be brave. Then strange things began to happen. They heard branches snapping and a distant howl. When they turned around, they couldn't see anything in the dark forest. The rain poured down on them, soaking them to the bone. They slipped on the muddy ground, trying to stay close to each other. Their laughter turned into nervous giggles. As night fell, they found an old wooden shack hidden in the trees. It looked abandoned, but it gave them a place to hide. Inside, the floorboards creaked under their weight. There were broken pieces of furniture and scribbled markings on the walls. They made a small fire, huddling close for warmth. They whispered about how they would survive until morning, but outside, footsteps crunched in the wet soil, and it didn't sound like an animal. The boy gripped a stick, and the girl hid behind him. A shadow quickly moved past the window. They sat frozen, staring into the darkness. Hours passed in silence. The fire slowly burned out, and the only light came from the moon shining through the cracks in the walls. The girl and the boy knew that they had to protect each other. By morning, hunger forced them to keep moving. They crossed fast-flowing rivers, climbed slippery rocks, and almost fell into a deep gorge. Exhaustion pushed them to their limits, but they didn't give up. In the distance, they heard the faint sound of a horn. They ran toward it, and soon they were found by a search team looking for missing travelers. Relief flooded them as they were rescued. Looking back at the dark forest from the safety of the rescue van, they knew they had survived an adventure they would never forget. Their laughter and friendship had carried them through, turning what could have been a terrible tragedy into a tale of bravery and survival.